Today I will hopefully explain everything you need to know about this dream frame. It's called the Dream simply because it's my dream frame. So let's put this to the side and see what you get when you order the frame from Armaton Productions. You get 4 5mm arms, and note they are all the same. They are listed as left and right, but that's because of this prototype that had milled center hole for the motor. These don't have it. They have the standard hole through the middle. So for 5mm arms, base plate is 2mm thick. There is VTX holder that's also 2mm. Let's go to the top plate. Mid plate is 1.5mm thick and has this VTX holder brace on it, and you have GoPro mount that is 3mm thick. There is also a cross brace that's 1.5mm. So these parts here are 1.5mm, these two are 2mm, these are 5mm, and this one is 3. So I will also go through the hardware you need for the frame assembly. So here we have whole hardware set needed for frame assembly. We have 2 30mm standoffs, we have 6 20mm standoffs, 2 of those hard to find 8mm threaded standoffs, and for screws we need 4 10mm screws, we need 4 12mm screws, we need 2 of those 16mm screws, 14 of those 6mm, and 4 press nuts. So let's start building the frame. First of all, we need our base plate, and we need arms and this cross brace. So because of the frame geometry, the frame is slightly in that stretch X format, and if you look at the arms closely, you will see that one of those edges is actually longer. So longer edge and longer edge come together to form this slightly stretched format. So longer and longer, and this is narrower this way and broader this way. So let's secure the arms to the base. For that we need 4 of those 10mm screws, and the easiest way I found is to actually put these 4 screws in, and simply lock the arms in. Then you use this cross brace to secure everything down. Once we tighten those 4 screws down, we have a solid frame. Next, we use these 4 12mm screws and nuts. So this is arms assembled on a base plate. This is what is needed for the top plate assembly. First of all, we use our 3mm top plate and 16mm screws and this 8mm standoff. And this goes on like this. You simply use these two 20mm standoffs to secure it all together, like this. So this is our drop deck with the X-piece. We use 6mm screws and 20mm standoffs. So this is how the top plate assembles. Now we will merge the two halves together. This is our front. We know that by these cutouts for the camera brace that goes on the underneath of the frame, so it can slide back and forth to allow the camera to be tilted upwards. And the back piece needs this cutout for this plate. So again, 6mm screws with 30mm standoffs, and we need standoffs here as well. And we simply aligned this back piece. So you use remaining 6mm screws and we have our frame together. Let's go over how to mount the FPV camera and action cameras. As I showed you, we have this camera brace that goes underneath the frame and secures this with one screw from the bottom to the top, and you simply put the camera in. And the reason why I made this slide is so you can adjust the FPV camera angle. So if you pull it all the way back, some extreme camera angles are possible if you like flying backwards, so this frame has no problems doing that. And also for mounting GoPro Session and those types of camera, this TPU mount is actually made for Foxeer box, but I will make one that fits GoPro also. So you simply screw it down with those screws holding the top plate together. So you have GoPro mount, and for those who still use standard size, the standard GoPro, you can use a bit of foam It's much easier to do this when you're not recording. And trust me guys, this is going nowhere. It's really secure, and you can adjust the angle of your camera as little as possible, or to match it with that extreme angle of the FPV camera. So no problems whatsoever with this setup. Let's do the VTX. You simply push the SMA through this little VTX piece. I use the nut to secure it down to this plate. And since this piece is made to protrude through this 1.5 millimeter plate, we have this strengthening piece to go over and to make this back piece super strong. Really, in nearly a year of flying this frame, I never had issues with this VTX mount. Then you simply screw the antenna in, and this is ready to go. The whole point of, or the design approach to this frame is to make these arms longer, so and super strong, so in case of impact there's no way this centerpiece is impacting the ground. So even upside down, you're only bending this piece here and not breaking it. So I really think this is really good for protecting your precious electronics inside. So you've seen how this all goes together. One more thing left to show you guys is how to apply those vinyl stickers. So let's go and do that. Let me show you how I do these vinyl stickers. I got one piece of vinyl stickers and I cut the piece that I like this one, and I simply put it to where I find it looks best. The next step, you need to use a heat gun to sort of melt the vinyl around the edges, and you simply take the file and run it across the edge like this. And the result you get is that the vinyl is exactly applied to the edge of the CF. I also do the holes like this, all done with the file. So here is the arm with the vinyl applied directly to the edge of the CF. I also do a little chamfering on the edges, and I always apply CA on these arm tips. This arm design proved to be really solid. These are arms, I think they're about 2 years old, and I never had to replace them. They are also 5, made of really cheap CF, but they did hold up for 2 years without a problem. No delamination, no nothing. The whole idea is for impact force to be spread around the more blunt area than the pointy one. So if you take a hit, it's not sharp, it's actually blunt. So really no issues whatsoever with this design of the arms. So if you have any questions, please ask me here on Facebook, on RCG, whenever. So here's the drink.